I want you to think about a song that means a lot to you, perhaps one that has stuck with you since you were young. Not just the melody, not just the chorus, really think about it. How does it make you feel? What does it make you think about? Where does it take you? I think you'll probably agree that there is an unbelievably strong link between music and memory. It is quite unmatched in how it can act as an emotional anchor, as a kind of timestamp on everything as it once was. It can take us away from the present and place us in a different time altogether, not just reminding us of it, but sounding just like it. Mixtape, Beethoven and Dinosaurs 2026 coming of age game is obsessed with this idea that youth is something you soundtrack, something you can curate, and through the memory of music, return to. Almost like the entirety of a past moment can be contained within a melody, ready to be played again at a moment's notice. The game tells the story of Stacy, Slater, and Cassandra, three teenage friends that are fresh out of high school. The narrative hinges around the fact that they are going their separate ways the next morning and are doing everything they can today to give their time here the send-off that it deserves. The game plays out as a series of vignettes, various mini-games connected and soundtracked by Stacy's perfect playlist. The music orders the experience into chapters that explore everything, from what brought these characters together to how their connection grew, to what threatens the certainty of their friendship going forward. It is presented in an ultra-cinematic, extremely heightened way. It mirrors the kind of artificial world that we see presented in music videos, breaking down into sequences of surreal imagery that evokes the feeling of a distant memory. These sequences are often dreamlike and ethereal, whether you are flying across gorgeous green meadows, falling backwards out through the world, or burning everything down in a spew of teenage angst. This is a game that accesses a surreal sensibility to make its emotions land. It's also a hell of a lot of fun, a nostalgia tour that manages to tug at the heartstrings, regardless of whether these are songs you know or not. A poignant joyride through a greatest hits collection of those formative teenage years. And for that alone, it's a game I could recommend to just about anybody.
I want to be okay with things changing, you know? I don't want to be some old dude yelling at the television, thinking the kids are lame.
Maybe it just happens.
We are captive on the carousel of time. Joni Mitchell, 1970.
My love of Mixtape goes much deeper, because there is so much more at play with this game than a mere greatest hits collection of teenage camaraderie. The interplay of music, memory, time, and waning adolescence is offering something more than just a nostalgia tour of times gone by. It is also a game that fixates on the unstoppable passage of time. This is visible everywhere in the game's design. Mixtape is about as linear as video games get. While there is interactivity, it doesn't serve to shape the story. You aren't dealing with choices or consequences. It is a straight run from cutscene to minigame to cutscene. As stylishly as it moves between its elements, and as fun and as light-hearted as these vignettes are to play, there isn't much mechanical depth. You're either moving forwards towards a destination or interacting lightly with objects around you. Everything exists here to give you that next slice of story. This direction is laid down clearly at the game's outset, with a breakneck descent into the town on skateboards. It is a straightforward rush down the side of a mountain, with little in the way of obstacles to hold you up. You can do a few tricks, and you're supposed to dodge the cars along the way, but that really is it. It's a moment that wants to artificially create the feeling of freedom rather than provide you with it mechanically. For me, this simplicity feels pointed. I think it serves the narrative by capturing the on-rails nature of youth, the way it can feel so free, so fast, so exhilarating as you go through it, but you're still always being carried in one direction. The destination is always rushing up to meet you, no matter what you do along the way to slow it down. You might be flying carefree right now, but tomorrow is still going to come, and you are still going to have to grow up eventually. That is the feeling that Mixtape returns to time and time again.
Slater! Shut my door!
Goodbye, Stacy's room.
The inevitable slipping away of youth is the emotional tension that fuels Mixtape. A large part of the story hinges around the friends trying to take control of time, to make what time remains perfect. This desire for order underpins Stacy's need to curate the perfect playlist, the very thing that structures this narrative experience in the first place. But as the game goes on, something becomes all too clear. That the reality can never quite live up to the dream of that perfect last day. My favourite exploration of this idea arrives just over halfway through the game. You break into a defunct dinosaur theme park, itself an overgrown vestige of past youthfulness. You end up riding on the back of one into the horizon as you and your friends look to the future.
It's like we're writing the albums. The greatest hits comes later, after it's all over.
Exactly.
We need more hits.
Like what?
Like parties and victimless crime and stuff.
To me, this moment recalls the game's central metaphor of music as memory. This idea that all through our lives we are writing the records, but only after this, at some undefined point in the future, can we look back and see the greatest hits for what they truly were. This, and the very dreamlike, surreal depiction of riding off into a sunset that accompanies it, makes its point deafeningly clear. We don't always get to appreciate the good times as we live through them. From their position of youth, this is in fact the formation of that obsession with attempting to curate the future that will write these hits. By throwing more parties, causing more trouble, going on more adventures. It's a lovely summary of that sense of possibility that comes with the absolute certainty that there is more time to spare, that things don't have to change yet. That is, until you remember that at this point in the game, you are already looking back on this moment as something that has already happened in an already distant past. While it is a statement for making the most of the present, this ruminative dinosaur ride recreates the deeper tension of time's inevitable passing that is the emotional core of Mixtape. Because no amount of reminiscing will bring the past back, and lingering in a moment won't stop the next one from arriving. In this way, Mixtape is a heartfelt depiction of the need to hold on to something, even as it disappears, to try and bash an ending into a desired shape that it can no longer sustain. It is those tender moments, the ones that gently acknowledge the gravity of the changes that are to come, and how time stops for nobody, that give the game its emotional heft. I adore how Mixtape chooses to say goodbye. It comes to an end in a final, glorious flight across the town that made you, and then, as expected, having to part ways with your friends.
I don't even know what I'm doing. Why the hell am I leaving?
Because you know the perfect song for every moment. What song would be playing now?
I don't think it's been written yet.
Goodbye, Stacy Rockford.
I think the script does a lot with a little here. It is a touching goodbye that feels thematically complete. A moment of genuine growth for the protagonist, showing them reach a new level of acceptance, relinquishing control and not trying to shape the moment through what is already known. It is followed by the biggest punch of all, Stacy and Slater's last walk home together. A bittersweet exchange that perfectly caps off Mixtape's coming-of-age story. Neither of them wants it to be over. They insist on seeing one another tomorrow. They refuse to break under the reality that this is, at least for now, an ending to everything that they have been. All of this culminates in a simple but devastating final interaction. I think Mixtape is really about saying goodbye to youth on good terms, leaving nothing unsaid, and instead of burning bridges, moving on without closure, without a definitive end. It is about accepting that life is not some Hollywood dream where we all get to ride off into a sunset. It is surmised nicely in that final lingering moment with Stacy, as she watches Slater walk away. She reaches for her headphones, but does not put them on, like she is deciding there and then that there is no song that she wishes to remember this by, that she wants the memory to belong entirely to her, because the truth is, we don't always get to control the story, only the part we play in it. And I think that's important to realise, because while the twilight of our teenage years might be the first time we go through it, it is something that will come for us time and time again. Everything has its season, and however badly we might want to relive it, however much we might desire the satisfaction of one more do-over, however we might yearn in the name of perfect closure, in the end, we still have to be willing to lose. We still have to learn to let go. We still have to walk away from what once was, so that we might step towards who we are becoming, so that we might continue to live. That is the bittersweet reality of growing up.